Alright, hello today again, YouTube. I say that because I just got done filming a video with that little generator right there, but, so, this is going to be the second video of the day. I'm going to just do, as I said in the end of my last video, in case you missed it, I'm just going to film a bunch of videos, at a given time. So, like today, I'm going to film about 3 videos, this being the second one, an overview of this Craftsman mower, or not an overview, I mean a review, and then I'm going to film another thing inside the shed there, but I'm going to do that way when I have less time, I'll be able to upload stuff throughout the coming weeks instead of just going off the grid for a while. So anyways, with that out of the way, let's get to it. So this is obviously a Craftsman T150 mower, and this mower has been, well, it's been pretty good. You know, we've had it for about 4 or 5 years, right around there. We have put this thing to a lot of use. It's a 46 inch cut. I'm like 99% sure it is. It's either 46 or 44. I don't think we would have gotten a 44. Wait, there it is. If I can. Yep, 46. That's what I thought. 46-inch cut. Yeah, it's dirty. It is very, very dirty. And actually, I cleaned this before we put it away for the winter, which it doesn't appear as though we have ever cleaned it, but I clean this thing almost every time I use it. It's just we've been using it for yard work and towing and moving stuff around, so the four-wheelers won't destroy the wet yard. It's just gotten really muddy. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. So 5 years, 4.5, 5 years. How good has it been? It's been amazing for pretty much everything, really. We haven't had any notable problems with it other than the battery dying, which was kind of a surprise because the battery we had was fully charged, put it away, started at midwinter, and then got to start it about a month ago, and the battery was just dead, and the key was off the entire time. There was nothing draining the battery, so we just went out and got a battery from, I think, Home Depot. But yeah, so seat, obviously nothing special there. Seat held up. All this electrical stuff, no problems. The seat, the only thing that I don't like about the seat is that when you're sitting on it, it's kind of short on the back. So the mower we had before this was up to about, so if I can get the mower we had before this was up about that much higher, which I'd say another 4 inches higher than this back seat, which was really nice to have. But you know, that's not really a complaint, it's just something, it was just more of a comfort feature. But anyways, so one of the main things, the engine, good old engine for Craftsman. It is a Briggs & Stratton engine, and this is just like the little overview that this says. Starts just like a car, no choke starting. Well, that I don't know about whatsoever. I've never actually read that, but that's kind of a lie. Yeah, that's definitely a lie there, because this, usually when I start this thing, I'll keep the RPMs on low, and I'll just let it crank and crank and crank until it starts on low, but that's normal for the summertime and spring and everything. But in the wintertime, or in real early spring or late fall, when the weather gets down to like the 30s and stuff like that, you definitely have to use choke most of the time. Majority of the time you have to use choke. So that little thing right there that said no choke required is kind of a false statement. I don't know why they would even put that on there if there's a choke clearly for the engine. That's kind of stupid in my opinion. But anyhow, yeah, so I think I've done one oil change on this thing, honestly. Usually, like with the four-wheelers and stuff like that, I try and change them every couple of years. My cars are a little bit different. I do every 8,000 miles religiously. But with this one, I just put this oil filter on probably 2 years ago. Don't get me wrong, it's gonna need another oil change, but it's not like this thing gets used every single day. We have 2 lawnmowers here, this one and that really old, well, not really old, but that Craftsman right there we also use. That's a 42-inch cut mower. But this is the big dog. This is the one we use for the majority of the yard, so we use it for the entire back area and that goes all the way around, and then we'll use that little red one, or the, not little, but the red one for up here and in the front yard mostly. But yeah, so this one really hasn't had any issues with the engine, no issues with the mower deck, no issues with the transmission. Luckily, it's been, I prefer the standard transmission like that one has. That one has a standard where you push the brake lever halfway in and you shift from first to second to third. That transmission is completely dead though. It's just stuck in 5th gear. It has no reverse, no first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. It's just 5th gear. That one's literally just not running at all, hardly. It is horrible. But anyways, I prefer that transmission over this one. Not that transmission in particular because it's blown, but a standard transmission versus a hydrostatic one, which obviously you sit down on it, you let go of the brake, then you just push this forward and go into whatever speed you have to go, and backwards is the same way. It's not my favorite transmission in the world, but it does the job. This does have a limited slip rear differential from when we bought it, which it's not the most sophisticated thing in the world, but this little transmission here, or this little differential in the back, I have to say, has really held its own. Because we have hills. I mean, this doesn't look like much of a hill. You can't really tell on camera, but it's a pretty decent little hill. So when you're mowing that way and you have to make a turn to go right, to go up that hill, the mower's like that older mower, the one wheel just spin. Even if you shift all your weight onto that one wheel that's spinning, it'll just let this other wheel spin. This one, the transmission on this one will actually kick in both wheels, and it will actually help you for the most part get into out of those situations, which is nice. I just like how this has, and this also has like this little bypass thing. You can pull it out like so, like that, and that just allows you to move this freely. But how often do you use that, really? Unless you get the thing stuck in the mud or something, which is another thing that this limited slip differential definitely helps with, is going in the springtime. You see, like, even just like right there, there's just, that's pretty much the entire backyard, just straight mud. So when I'm moving stuff, it definitely helps to have both wheels spin. Now, it's not the best system. It does get overloaded fairly easily sometimes. So if I'm going up this hill, let's just say, actually that hill's not very good. So let's say that hill right there, that little, where the dog is, the right of the dog, next to that tree. If I'm trying to go around that tree and it's really muddy, it just got done raining out, it will overload that limited slip differential and it will just spin the one tire. But if it's dry like it is right now up there, it'll turn. I can go a full lock on a turn and it won't spin at all. It'll make it go perfectly right up and down that hill, and it's really nice to have. Anyways, so yeah, this thing's been, like I know I'm sounding like a broken record here, but we've had no problems with it, really. It's been a very, very good mower. The blades, I sharpen once every season. That's fairly easy to do. I just pop the blade off, I sharpen it on one of the sharpeners we have, put them back on, and it's good to go. Another thing I love, read that, made in the USA. I love that. That was a big selling point, mainly because the price for this mower, for a 46-inch cut, made in the US, it was a toss between this and John Deere. And John Deere, for the exact same size mower, actually had a 44-inch cut, and it was a 17-horse engine, I believe. They wanted about $1,000 more, which I get. You're paying for John Deere. Don't get me wrong. I live in the middle of the country. We all love John Deere. We all drive John Deere and New Hollands and old Ford tractors. Don't get me wrong. But the price, the power, the size of the cut, it was a too good of a deal to pass up, honestly. It does everything we need to and more. So the suspension on here, well, front, suspension, if you can even really consider it suspension, it's held its own over these bumps and stuff. It flexes relatively good. The main overall complaint that I have about this particular mower, the only main complaints that I have, really more than anything, is the fact that this hood, which I've actually read reviews, and there's a lot of people who say this about this particular T50 model, there's a joint underneath here, and I don't know exactly where the joint is. I think it's actually right over in, it's connected in part over in this section here. over in this section of like where the wheel is and stuff. It's connected in here somewhere. So essentially, when you turn this steering wheel all the way to its lock, which I'm doing one-handed, so when you do it to that lock, the hood's nice and flush. There's no movement. But when you turn it to the other way, to the other lock, the hood, and it does it worse when you're moving, but the hood moves a lot. See that? It moves. I hate that so much. It is so unbelievably annoying. So when you're turning, when you're making a left-hand turn, this mower can make this turn. It can make this turn no problem all day long from right here. But while I'm doing it, the entire hood, 9 times out of 10, will pop up and do that. It always does this. It's so annoying. It doesn't sound like it'd be something so bad, but when you're mowing with it, and you're sitting there when you're mowing, and the thing gets all, and pretty much this is what it ends up doing. So I gotta fix it every single time. It's just annoying as hell. I'm telling you, it is so unbelievably annoying having to sit there and do that every single time. It annoys the life out of me sometimes, man. I don't know why. It's just like a design flaw somewhere. I don't know why it does it, but it does. It's just so annoying. It really is. Other than that I can't even say major because it's really not a major thing. That's a most major thing, really. Other than that, the only other thing I don't like is the headlights being on 24/7. There's no headlight switch anywhere on here. None. So really what I ended up doing was, because I don't like the headlights just running constantly when I'm mowing, and it kind of looks stupid to me, I actually just unplugged, disconnected the light bulbs, unscrewed them a little bit, and I put them back in. That way they wouldn't be on, just because I didn't want to burn out the bulbs prematurely, and it's just kind of a dumb idea overall. That's the only other thing I can really complain about. And if I know I'm going to be mowing, it's going to be getting dark out, or I have to go on the road or whatever, which if I'm going on the road at that point, I would just use the four-wheeler because it's much faster. I just would screw them back in real quick. But other than that, other than those two things, everything's been real good. The air filter could use a change, but it's good. So yeah, so pretty much the only negatives, really, at the end of the day, if I can get this thing to pop back in here. There we go. So the only negatives at the end of the day for this mower is that annoying hood thing. It doesn't sound like it'd be something that would annoy me, that would annoy normal people, and it does. It just does. I'm sorry. So other than that, and other stupid things like the headlights, this has been just a fantastic mower. It's held its own. It's held up, and I hope it keeps holding up, and I hope I didn't jinx it by making this video. But yeah, it's just a pretty straightforward mower, and then you have your brake right there. So when you push the brake like that, you can hold the brake in place. So another small detail is when you push the brake in like that, you lock the brake on, you can start the thing and let it run without sitting on it. If you take that brake off, it'll die without you sitting on it, like a lot of mowers. Now, I mean, yeah, you could disconnect the cables and stuff like that, and yada yada yada, but there's really no use for it. If you can just do that, it takes 2 seconds instead of disconnecting cables and stuff and all this and that. One other thing I like is just the cup holder. I do kind of like that, so I can have like a water or whatever out here with me. And this actually fits my phone perfectly. So pretty much what I would do is I would put the phone in there like that, essentially, and it would actually just hold the phone while I'm mowing, which is nice. Nice little feature to have. And then there's obviously, it's hard to read because it's dirty, but here are all your warnings and all that, all that fun stuff on here. Disengage blades, and how to use the brake, and because apparently some people, believe it or not, don't have enough common sense to know any of this stuff. So essentially, people don't have enough common sense to not run over their children. They don't have enough common sense to look behind them when there's a kid. I find that incredibly discouraging and sad that there's people out there like that. But I'm not trying to start a fight or anything, but if you have to read a thing on the floor of your mower to tell you not to run over a child or to look behind you when you're backing up, you really shouldn't have kids around you at that point. That's just, and this is another stupid feature in my opinion. I mean, it's not stupid, I get it, that it's the world we live in, but I mean, the fact that when you're running this thing, so this is a normal run position, and yes, I know the key is very rusty. It does need to get replaced eventually, but anyways, when you're running this in normal position like that, in order to back up while your blades are spinning, so if you're mowing and you have to back up and you start backing up, it'll kill the engine. Unless you either A, turn the blades off, or B, turn this little switch over one notch, like that, and then you gotta press this red button, or make that red light come on, and then by pressing the triangle. And again, you have the picture of you being told not to run over a child. Yeah. It's gotten to the point where you can't just back up a mower. You have to actually sit there, stop the mower, turn the key, press a button, and then you can back up. It's just so stupid in my opinion. My grandmother, she has a Simplicity lawnmower, which the biggest overpriced piece of garbage I've ever seen in my life. The fuel line they put on top of the exhaust, like an inch and a half above the exhaust, and the zip tie ended up melting and breaking, so the exhaust melted the brake line, because the brake line ended up falling down a half inch, and it melted the brake line, and it caught the front end of the lawnmower almost on fire. It started to smoke, and she had the wherewithal to turn the mower off when she saw smoke. Yeah, it is just there's so many things. I want to do a review on that mower just to show everybody how bad that mower is. Really, it makes this mower. That mower that she has was like $4,000 or more. This was like $1,200. It makes this mower look like, it's the equivalent of looking at a freaking Ford Pinto versus looking at a, like a Ferrari 458. That's what the difference is. It's horrendous. But anyways, I'm not trying to get sidetracked. But anyways, and then there's also these other warning labels that are just so funny. It tells you, it honestly has to tell you, man. Look, it tells you not to put your foot under here when the blades are spinning, or your hands and fingers. It tells you not to reach under where the blades are spinning and have your hands get chopped off. These warning labels they just bear with me here. I mean, they're all over the damn place on this thing. This is how bad the world is. And again, more of them on this side. Do not, again, the same one, do not put your hands or foot. Do not put your hand, do not put your hand. I mean, how bad do people have to be in order to make them have to do that? I'm not saying I'm the smartest person in the world. I'm not saying I was like, I went to like Harvard or anything, or any special schools, or I'm like a genius or anything like that. If you honestly, in your heart of hearts, know you have to rely on these stickers and warning labels. Same thing goes for like detergents and stuff, telling them don't let your kids ingest this detergent. Honestly, you shouldn't have kids if you have to listen to that stuff. I mean, and just look at all these darn labels. They have so many labels here telling you not to put your hands underneath this thing while it's running. It's ridiculous. Let me see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 9, 10, 11 of them. 11 things just telling you not to put your hands underneath this thing. And then obviously there's all these ones here. Same exact thing. 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, 14 warnings to not put your hands underneath that thing. Anyways, other than those few little annoyances, I guess you could say, this mower has been amazing. It really has. It's a beast. It cuts through this grass like nobody's business. It does amazing. I mean, it'll cut through. I'm not even joking. I've mowed where the weeds and stuff are right there, right in the middle of the screen. I've mowed through that stuff. I put this thing on probably like the middle height, and I just go, I gotta go a little bit slower, but it will cut through it like relatively easily. It's really nice. But yeah, so that's just an overview review of this Craftsman T150 mower. I hope you all enjoy. And I'm sorry about getting off on a tangent about how annoying all these stickers are. I mean, I get why they have them, but it's overkill, man. It really is. But anyhow, I hope you all enjoy, and I will see you guys in the next video.